Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Oceanside. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA, Master Spas, deboer, wetsuits, Premium Plus Sports, SFuels, and their new Zone Fuels, and you can get a free sample below. And our Challenged Athletes Foundation, we just sent out over $7 million of grants to over 4,000 challenged athletes around the world. Our next guest, Emma Pallant-Browne, joins us. How are you doing, Em?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks. Good to be here.
Always a pleasure. Okay, so I see bandage here. I see a bandage there. What the heck?
Yeah, so last brick session, key brick session in Tucson on Saturday before we left to travel up on Tuesday. And yeah, I was doing a hard TT effort down in my bars. Must have hit something sharp in the road because my front tire just exploded and I went over the top. Yeah.
Oh, so it could have been a lot worse.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm feeling very lucky.
Yeah, so mainly just in your hand?
Yeah,
just mainly road rash.
Road rash, and I had a lump on my head, which has gone down, but maybe kind of just my neck and everything's just a bit fragile.
Right now, you've raced here before.
Yes, once.
You got second, right? In 2021.
Yeah, back when it was in October, it was at a funny time. Yeah,
that's right.
And Paula won.
That's right. Yeah. So, and actually that year, 2021, you won everything. Right? Alcatraz, 70.3 Florida, Williamsburg, Boulder. I mean, you were on fire.
Yeah, I had a good stint in America, and I didn't win this one, but
it was a great race.
But it was a brilliant race. I think it was after Worlds actually.
Yes.
So,
and what is it about this course that you liked?
I really enjoyed, I think it's quite an honest bike course.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen any of it beforehand.
Which is cool, because nobody got to see it beforehand.
Yeah, so then you're kind of going into it and you just kind of ride the race and you just, it's like all closed down and it's a pretty cool, fast race from what I remember.
Yeah, and the run course is cool too because there's crowds along the way. It's a couple loops so you can sort of know where you're at.
Yeah, and a real seaside feel. I remember everyone out and we had pretty good weather for it.
Yes.
So yeah, it was definitely a big kind of vibe down there. It was really
when
cool.
you're running along and there's a surfers going across the street.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, well, I'm going surfing. I don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. I actually remember seeing you on the run course as well.
Yes.
You and Eric.
Yes, we were out there. Oh yeah, I was going
along.
so slow. With this year, will this be Ironman, sort of the Ironman series for you?
Yeah, so I definitely want to get a couple of them in. I just know they're going to be really high kind of quality fields and big races. Like to have 40 women on the start list is incredible. So
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm kind of targeting this one. Mallorca, Chattanooga, definitely will be at Worlds. And yeah, if I have room for another, who knows?
Was it making that decision on the whole thing with T100 or Ironman? Because obviously the distances are 70.3 and that are fairly close.
Yeah, I do think you can overlap them. I think it's always that fine balance and that fine line between I love racing, but then also getting in kind of so you're not over racing, so you're not over traveling, and you're still getting kind of good training blocks in.
So last year, you won. Is it Mossel Bay?
Yeah,
Mossel Bay and Swansea and Pays d'Al.
Oh, my French is horrific, but I'm
wow.
sure that's probably
in the ballpark?
probably better than I would say.
Then also getting fourth at the European Open. That's a biggie because the fields are so deep and just the best. It's like a world championship field. Yeah,
and then at Worlds I also got fourth, so I kind of felt like I doubled up on the chocolate medal on my two biggest races. I was just off the podium, so yeah, last year made me a little bit hungry going into this year.
Yes, that is so cool. So how from this off season, what were you working on?
So we did a lot of work on my swim, and that was actually one of the main reasons to go to Tucson for 3 weeks before this.
Right.
Lionel's coach is awesome guy, South African, called Justin. And yeah, he's been amazing, really helped me out with my stroke.
Isn't that funny? Because you get to a certain point and you're wondering, can I get better? it's one thing if you're a junior swimmer, but it's like it's hard when you're an adult to get faster in the swim.
Yeah, yeah. And Tim's always like, oh, your swim survives off your fitness, and because I'll swim a lot and I'll work hard on it, but I'm never I get to a certain pace and I can just hold the pace. I can't go any faster. And I don't think, it's not ideal when you're like hitting your absolute limit on the swim and then you come out and you've got to jump on the bike, because that first 10K is getting harder and harder on the bike.
Absolutely.
Especially with kind of bigger draft kind of gaps and stuff that everyone wants to get as far up the road as possible to not have to go past 5 girls in a row holding 20 meters.
Right.
Like it's a big effort otherwise. So I kind of need to come out of the swim a bit more efficiently. And yes, I can hit the bike hard.
And so when you're doing those type of swim efforts, do you get out of the pool and then immediately go hard bike efforts?
Yeah, we have actually done a bit of that in South Africa. I think it kind of came from the other year when Tim started doing the Super League like arena games.
Yes.
And he was like, this can actually get you pretty fit. So I had my bike set up at the turbo poolside and was doing hard swim into hard bike, hard swim, hard bike.
That's amazing. As somebody who's been doing this for a while, how has it changed? How has the sport changed for you?
Yeah, I think I just see more opportunities. Hey, I think it's growing the sport from like the more you can level races. So I think when I started out, there was like you had no idea. Like you could go to a race and there could be 5 amazing athletes, or and it's just the same kind of level race as another race that you could go to, and there wouldn't be so many athletes there. And I feel that kind of hit and miss sometimes hurts people coming into the sport, because there was like no level kind of grades of races. Whereas now I see them being more tiered. So people can be like, okay, I feel like this is the level I'm at, and when I get better, I'm going to start going to these races. When I get better, and it can progression more through.
Right.
And get results at the start without being kind of thrown in the deep end. And
right. Well, you think about it. If you're doing the T100, you have to be top 20, right? But to build up to that, you need to go to a 70.3. You can just sign up for it.
Yeah.
Right, as a pro, and then you'll find out where that level is. And okay, am I going to focus on 70.3 this year? Do I need to do some fulls? That's the hard part with the Ironman World the series is there's so much. It's weighted so much with fulls. Yeah.
But again, I think it really grades the races and tiers it. So if people going to like this series races like know they're going to be good hard fields to race in.
Right.
They're kind of highlighted races.
Do you see this year doing? You won't be doing a full this year.
No.
You're staying away from those.
Yeah, I think I got enough on my plate.
I mean, how many races are you thinking?
Sure. I think so there's going to be, I'd say at least 11, maybe 12.
Oh my God. That's a full season.
Yeah. Full.
So you start, is this a season kickoff? Besides, we can chat Miami, but Miami for second year in a row, heat.
Yeah.
And what I don't think people understand is that blacktop out there at the racetracks. It is just, one, there's no shade, and 2, it is just brutally hot. And you guys are starting at what? 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon.
And it's just the humidity. Like so in Johannesburg we have very dry heat, and I was training at like high temperatures, middle of the day, and could be okay. But the minute we were kind of racing, the minute that sun went down and we were in the dark, the humidity went up.
Oh, interesting.
And I just sweat like crazy, and I feel like my body just shuts down. And
when did you pull?
So I don't even know how many. I don't think I had that many laps left on the bike.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as I started feeling dizzy, like ironically, I have fainted off my bike before. Injuries are worse than this. I was like, I don't want that happening again. And it was a big surprise because I really thought like we'd made good gains on it. And I thought if anything, maybe I'll feel a little bit funny on the run. And that's kind of easier to control because you can stop,
you slow down, hydrate.
We had all the kind of, okay, if this happens, this is what we're going to do. But we didn't have, if I feel dizzy on the bike, what are we going to do? Like I definitely, like 2 years prior to that, I'd got onto the run. So I thought, well, I'm definitely going to get onto the run.
Right.
But yeah.
What's interesting, we were talking to Tamara Jewett this morning, and she comes, like yourself, from a track background, right? And she goes, I couldn't figure out why I didn't want to do these racetrack races. and 'cause it just didn't appeal to me. And I realized that, when I was running before, it's like you're running lap after lap after lap, and it's not really. It's sort of a flashback to why you got out of that sport to begin with. Is I don't want to be running laps with not many spectators and not a real lot of reason for me to go around in circles. When, oh my God, 22 laps on a bike, I don't really want to be here. And I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. I get it. Coming from that type of background, the last thing you want to do is run in circles.
Yeah. I do find very much like I like the community of triathlon. Like in a running track stadium, it was just like 10 of you on a track and everyone else is just watching. Whereas here, you see everyone running past and you see, in training, like I'm one of those people that if I have to go round and round in circles, like I'm more than happy. If I have to do a treadmill run, like I just, mentally it doesn't faze me. But at the same time, like the adventurous kind of triathlons, I think the hills. I love the hills.
That's why you like this course.
It helps,
And you like the idea of going into the surf and then swimming into the bay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit apprehensive about the swim. Just after the crash, I think it's a good thing that it's a wetsuit. All of this will be covered up.
Oh, good point.
But it's something that, I'm just going to have to deal with.
What do you look at as the best race you've ever had?
I think probably Boulder 70.3. I think, back in, it was actually Taylor Nibb's first race as a 70.3.
Yes.
And I just enjoyed that chase because I felt like I do enjoy chasing in a race, and I just had such a good lead into that. And I don't know, we trained there. So I was training on the course. There was no travel. It just felt like the day was quite seamless.
You got up in the morning and you walked right over to the course.
Exactly.
Right there in the neighborhood. And that doesn't happen very often where you get to do that.
Yeah, and just being able, the weeks prior to that, running on the run course and cycling on the cycle course, it just felt so like it's just another normal day of training.
That's always the best when it's like that. And does this lifestyle, you're traveling, you're racing, you're training, it's repeat over and over again, but you still love it?
Yeah, I do. I think this trip's been hard, starting off with the DNF. And then, I started off with the 10K PB in London.
Yes, you did.
And then I had a DNF in Miami. And then it's been about this 3 weeks in Tucson, making the progressions in the swim and feeling really good, getting in a good block, and then the crash and just those ups and downs. It does make you think, okay, you've got to really love it. And I get a bit, now it's been 5 weeks and I really miss my dogs at home. That's the tough bit. And I love training at home. I love then just traveling out to a race. But I think you've got to be quite robust in this sport. Very rarely will you get a day where it all goes to plan. And but every day you learn from it. And you got to love it. I think it's too hard a sport to not.
And for you guys, when you're leaving South Africa, it's not like, fly there for the weekend and come home. When you leave, you leave. It's going to be, at least a month, maybe 2 before you come home again.
Yeah. And I'd say that's been the tough thing. I think when I was young and living in London, I was happy to be on the road all the time.
You're like, let's go travel.
Yeah. And now we've got the babies. I'm like, okay, how can we be really strategic about the racing season? And every year I promise I'm going to cut back on races because I do think I race my best when I have a big block at home, then fly out to a race and hit one hard. But it's hard to do when you see 6 juicy races and you're like, I could back it up with that one. And then
it's a good era for being a pro triathlete because there's so many great options out there, where back in the day there weren't that many options, and a lot of them didn't have much in the way of financial backing. Now I think between PTO, T100, and what Ironman is doing, and not forget about Challenge, there's still those races out there as well. There's a lot of great options for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. And I do think that's now reflecting in the standard. I feel like everyone's always going up a level, and you've really got to pay attention to the finer details and go to places to get your swim better, and go to bike fits with the person you really trust.
Yes.
And it's all the fine points.
Right, because in terms of the technology that's gone into it, getting into the wind tunnel, figuring all that out, what position can I be in and still run well?
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what also makes it so exciting, because every athlete is so different. And like you say, an aggressive position, if your bike is your weapon, maybe an aggressive position really works. But if your run is your weapon, maybe you need to be less aggressive on the bike and really kind of, use that run as a weapon. And because the courses are also different. It's not like, we're turning up and racing the same girls all the time, like in the same atmosphere. Like, it's totally different. Like, someone could kick butt at the weekend and then 3 weeks down the line go to a totally different course, and it'd be a bit tougher.
Well, yeah, I mean, before the race, I don't think a lot of people were saying Indy is going to go win Clash Miami and run by Lucy and go win the race. I think there's a lot of equality out there. There's a lot of people, and then you get some of the new people coming in from ITU, and we'll see even more as soon as people if they don't make Paris, then we're going to see an influx of more really talented people, which I'm guessing you like.
Yeah, 100%. I think, again, it just changes every race dynamic, and it just leaves no error for weakness. Like, you really have to, be on the ball all the time, and always give it 100%.
Love it. Thank you, Em, for taking so much time. I'm glad
Thank you so
these
much.
are just little bandages and not casts and neck braces and all that.
Exactly. Very fortunate.
Have a great one out there on Saturday. We'll be out there.
Thank you so much. See you out there.
Emma Pallant-Browne has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Oceanside. Hold on. We will be right